Hello everybody, welcome to a informational video on the Nintendo Direct that came out on the 13th of September. This is going to be breaking down the Nintendo Direct itself, as well as providing some theories and some explanations on what I think is going on and what we can learn from this Direct that will be in the new Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon games. Here's what we're going to be talking about. We're going to be talking about each of the 4 parts that was introduced as new events and ideas that are coming out into these games, which is really a creative way of showing us how new games are going to be, because it breaks it down in the parts so I don't have to try to break it down even more while trying to watch it. So it really helped a lot that way. And also some other hidden content that I believe could be some new features and new ideas that will be happening in the new games. So let's start off with part 1. And that's the easiest part to cover because it is what we already know. Except we finally have names for these 2 creatures, the box art legendaries Duskmane Necrozma and Dawn Wings Necrozma. Now we all kind of figured out that these were new forms of the legendaries. We have Solgaleo and Lunala that just had pieces of Necrozma thrown onto it. In actuality, that is true, that they do look like that. However, they are new forms of Necrozma and not new forms of Solgaleo and Lunala. They are when Necrozma takes over the light energy from these 2 Pokemon that they are created into existence. And honestly, I think that's a pretty cool idea. It kind of just reminds me of Black and White 2, where they made the new Kyurem forms by taking essentially the 3rd legendary that wasn't a box art legendary and making it fuse with the 2 box art legendaries. So I think we've seen this before, but still a pretty neat idea. I like the designs, definitely. And I don't see a reason for the typings to change. Necrozma is a psychic type, and both of these Pokemon are psychic types themselves. So I appear that Duskmane Necrozma will be a steel and psychic type, and Dawn Wings Necrozma will be a ghost and psychic type. Moving on to part 2, we have a couple new locations that were revealed to us in this trailer. We have the Pikachu one that we actually got to see pretty vividly, with Pikachu dancing around and talking to you and interacting with you, which I think is pretty cool. Also a new surfing beach area where a lot of surfers are congregated, as well as the looks like a trial site that was in that Illumin's trial was in. It just looks like updated with new trees and different kind of like sensei. It feels like really highly influenced by Japanese and Chinese culture. Feeling like kind of like a bamboo forest. I expect to see Pangoro, Pancham, Stuffle, things like that. Bear Pokemon in there, so that's what I'm expecting from that. Also, we got to see some of the new designs and costumes for the trainer characters. We got to see that there's like a Pikachu shirt that you can wear and you can get for these trainers, which honestly, it's not really the biggest part of the trailer, but it is neat, nice to see that they are putting some new influence on the training customization, because we like customization as Pokemon players and people who have played the game since Generation 1. We like to have our own personal customization thrown into the game, so that way we feel more connected to the players that we are playing as in these games. So, very nice features to see in this game. And one of the most important parts of Part 2, if not the most important part of Part 2, is the reveal of the starter Pokemon. Yes, we know the starter Pokemon are the exact same as Sun and Moon, and of course they would be because it's the same game, just a little different. But I like how they introduced the new way to get the starter Pokemon. Instead of you choose it and it has to choose you back, which I think was a pretty cool idea, living with Alolan traditions and Hawaiian traditions with that. But they kind of brought back the Gen 3 mentality where you have to protect yourself or protect someone with one of the starter Pokemon. So the 3 show up, you pick one, and you battle your Yangoose with it, which I think is pretty cool. And I always liked that feature about Generation 3, and that's why Generation 3 was really a cool game, especially when I was playing through it in Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire. It's so cool to see those old designs and layouts all updated in 3D, and it looks really amazing. So I'm very excited for that part, and I'm not sure who I will pick yet. I've played through with Ral and I've played through with Popplio. I haven't done Litten yet, so I might choose Litten as my starter for this generation. Don't hold me to that, but I might choose Litten for this game. Moving on to part 3, and we're back to talking about Lycanroc. Oh, we knew it was going to come. But if you buy the games before January 10th, I believe, you can get a special event Rockruff that can evolve into Lycanroc Dusk form. Well, I mean, that's pretty cool, but again, I see the point with them not just like, oh, everybody gets a. You can get an event Rockruff, but it would be so much better if you can evolve Rockruff to the Dusk form just by catching one in the wild. Like maybe it has that ability, maybe it has to have its hidden ability, and then it'll evolve into a Dusk Lycanroc at a certain time, or you have to have a certain, like a Dusk Snow or something like that to evolve it. I think that would be pretty cool, but you know, this I really hope that it's just not the event Lycanroc that can evolve into Dusk form. Another thing we got to see was that all Lycanroc forms have gotten a special Z move, which actually looks pretty cool. In the trailer, it was battling attack with Coco, and it destroyed the battlefield like that. The battlegrounds like electric terrain. So that would be a cool entry thing that can get rid of those things. Maybe it can get rid of Stealth Rocks or Sticky Web or something like that as well, which would be a really cool Z move to use because you wouldn't have to waste a slot on. Essentially, you wouldn't have to waste a slot on Rapid Spin if you knew how to use it right. So that could be pretty cool to see. Another thing that I always talked about is if you virtually download it, you can get 10 quick balls, which I mean, it's not that big of a deal to get 10 quick balls. You're going to be able to get 10 quick balls in the game like nothing. So there's really no point to virtually download it if that's something you want to do. I mean, it might make catching Pokemon easier at the beginning of the game, but I mean, you don't really need that. You just play the game and it'd be okay. One of the things I'm really excited about is the Pokemon Gold and Pokemon Silver version. If you download those games, you can get Celebi in Sun, Moon, Ultra Sun, and Moon, or I said that wrong. You can get it in Sun, Moon, Ultra Sun, or Ultra Moon. You can get an event Celebi, and I'm really looking forward to this because I really want to have a Celebi for once. So I'm going to do it. I already started my download of Pokemon Silver for the virtual release because I already played through Pokemon Gold as you've seen on my channel. So Pokemon Silver is going to be the one I play on my 3DS. So I'm very excited about that. And part 4, which everybody's taken by storm, is the new Ultra Beast. Now these are called Ultra Beast Burst and Ultra Beast Assembly. I'm not really liking the designs that whole lot. I just watched it this past weekend, so UV Burst kind of is freaky and really, really weird. It looks like a messed up candy cane with like a cotton candy ball on the top. And then UV Assembly looks like if you had like a tower on a castle, sort of. So I mean, they're not the best designs, but I mean, they might be pretty powerful or something. And a lot of things is people are trying to find out the typing for these two Ultra Beasts. Now, I don't expect them to be very, very common typings, but I also expect them to be really based off of the design a lot. Because, I mean, Buzzwole obviously looks like a bug type and a fighting type. So, definitely that would fit very well. So, looking at these two, I'm going to say Ultra Beast Burst. Try saying that fast, jeez. UV Burst is going to be a fairy type. I'm not sure if it'll have a second typing or not. I want to say, so my first prediction is it's pure fairy type, just a fairy type, nothing else. And if it's not just a pure fairy type, I could see it maybe being a fairy and poison type. I think that would be really cool to see. So fairy poison type, if not just a fairy type. And Ultra Beast Assembly. I definitely think Steel is going to be one of the typing, definitely because of the stone looking on its body. Now I could see it being either a Steel Ghost or a Steel Dark. And I want to say it should be a Steel Dark, just because it gets me that kind of dark feel to it. But I definitely think these two have the best chance of the Ultra Beast to be just a pure typing. So, bold prediction, Ultra Beast Burst is just going to be a pure fairy type, and if not, it's a fairy poison. And Ultra Beast Assembly is going to be a pure steel type, if not a steel dark. Alright, now we get to move on to the hidden features, which is what I'm really excited about. The first one is something that really brings an interest to me, and should bring an interest to you as well. In the trailer, you got to see when they were showing the locations in part 2 that there was a Mantine that looked like it had a saddle on it, which awfully resembled the saddle that ride Pokemon get. So I'm thinking, because of that, our new surfing Pokemon in this game is going to be Mantine. Now maybe Mantine can fill two roles and be the surfing Pokemon and the flying Pokemon, because it is technically a flying type. Looks like a flying type, acts like a flying type, nose bounds, could be a flying type. So, might fill two, and they might just be trying to get rid of like overworld slots. So maybe they not have Charizard and not have Lapras in the same place. Maybe they just want to get rid of those and make it one, so they give it Mantine. Now, if that's the case and they're trying to save room, they probably should have picked a water type that seemed pretty powerful and bulky, that could destroy rocks in the water, if that's still a thing. So for me, a lot of that feel like it could be a Rhyperior, because Rhyperior does learn Surf, and it is a pretty powerful Pokemon that can learn Rock Smash. Strength, so maybe our Strength Rock Smash Surfing Pokemon could be a Rhyperior, and maybe it just be Mantine Rhyperior as our two Pokemon. And then you'd have to have a finding Pokemon, which obviously I don't think getting rid of Stoutland is that. Stoutland works really well for that role, so I don't have an idea of what you could replace it with. Maybe I would say a Zigzagoon, because it has the pickup ability and it's really known for that. But maybe one of the normal types that has the pickup ability that you probably could ride around on. So that would be a cool feature to see some new ride Pokemon. And with the new ride Pokemon, I would like to throw out the fact that Mantine is. Let me make sure before I say this and I say it wrong. If I am correct, I believe that Mantine is a Generation 2 Pokemon. Now, hold on, I'm looking it up just to make sure so I don't get a bunch of comments saying, oh, Mantine's Gen 3 or something like that. Just want to make sure we got it right. Mantine is a Generation 2 Pokemon, so I am right about that. It is a water flying type, so with a water flying type and a Gen 2 Pokemon, I'm anxious to see what the new Alolan forms will be looking like. This is the only time I'm going to be talking about Alolan forms, so I'm not going to repeat myself later, but I'm definitely leaning towards the fact that Johto Pokemon are going to get Alolan forms. This game looks awfully Johto, showing off more of a Johto-esque type of feel to it. Maybe a little bit of Hoenn with the starter Pokemon reveal. So I feel like it's going to be somewhere in the middle between Johto and Hoenn. We're not going to see any of the Kanto stuff come back. It's going to be Johto, Hoenn. So maybe the Kanto areas of the game that resembled Kanto regions, those will be Hoenn now. And the Johto region places will be more prevalent. Who knows? But definitely bold prediction, Alolan forms will be made of Johto Pokemon, no Kanto Pokemon. And that might be a video I cover soon before the release of the actual games. I might do a what Johto forms are going to get released into these games. Which, if you want to see that, please let me know, and I would be glad to do another Alola Informed video. If not, you can go check the one I did a while ago when these games were announced. Moving on, we have the Pikachu with the Ash hat on. You see that in the trailer, the Pokemon trainer sends it out. Now, obviously, these probably are just going to be event Pokemon. You just have to get it from GameStop, like when you buy the game. So maybe they're just going to be released after the game and be like, hey, here's a code for, like the Mega Stones were. Here's a code for the Mega Stones. Here's a code for Pikachu with the Cantonian Ash hat. Maybe that's what it's going to be, but honestly, I think it has a lot more to do with that Pikachu region, and I think that Pikachu area is going to be post-game. Now, what makes me think this is, why do you need to go to that Pikachu area during the actual game? Now, maybe it could be a prevalent spot in the beginning of the game. You have to go there because the evil team, whoever that might be, because we're not going to say it's Team Skull yet, because we do not know that for certain. Maybe the evil team is capturing Pikachu. And this is, everyone's been saying this, so maybe the evil team's catching Pikachu, and you're going to this reserve area that they're protecting Pikachu, and you're trying to stop them so they don't come back and steal Pikachu. And you get the Pikachu with Ash Hat from the conservation person who is there. Maybe it's Aether, maybe it's someone else who just likes Pikachu and is protecting them. But you might get a Pikachu with Ash Hat as that Pokemon during the main series of the game, which honestly, it could be pretty cool to do. But I definitely think if they do that, they have to include a post-game thing at that spot where you have to do certain Pikachu, you get maybe like Pikachu mini games and such, where you can get, if you win, you can get the Pikachu Ash Hat with different regions. So like the Generation 1, Generation 2, Generation 3, you get all the Ash Hat Pikachus through Generation 7. So I think that could be something cool to like, implement post game, but honestly, it's not that big of a deal. I think it's a cool idea to get Pikachu with an Ash Hat in here. However, I would like to get a perfect ID one, so I could use it maybe competitively. Maybe I'm gonna get in competitive battling, and that will happen eventually. Maybe not right now, but it's gonna happen. Moving on, we have the Ultra Wormhole. Now, what I noticed when this was released in the trailer with the Ultra Wormhole opening, it was way different from the one in Sun and Moon. So it wasn't just like copy paste. Here's a little effect. It was very different. Now, obviously, the trainer character looks different because that's the trainer character. However, Hal and Lusamine are both in this photo, which it's pretty much. I know I said it was very different, but it looks sort of the same. It's got the same camera angle and effect thing. But Hal and Lusamine are exactly the same. Look exactly the same. I know there's been hints at how might be have a different costume, whatever, maybe like Ultra Form Lily in Sun and Moon, but they look exactly the same, which means that somehow in the game, the Ultra Wormhole is going to open an Aether Foundation with Lusamine and Hal at your sides, and probably Lusamine is the president again. Hal is probably your rival again in this game. So I'm going to confirm those two right now, is that Lusamine is still president of Aether Foundation. Hal is your rival. However, I think this is going to be more of a twist to it. I think Hal might have a chance of being something else than just your rival. Maybe he actually is not a terrible trainer, defeats everybody ahead of you. Maybe he turns into like Gary or something, or Silver, one of those rivals that really are aggravating and always got ahead of you in the game that you had to catch up to and you had to beat, and then they became the champion. You had to defeat them like that. Maybe that's what we're gonna see. However, this being Generation 7, that being a reference to Generation 1. As I said earlier, I think Generation 1 is the farthest thing from these new Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon games. I know they said everything comes together in Sun and Moon. However, I don't believe that is the case. I believe Generation 2 is going to get hugely highlighted in this game, this new release. And honestly, that's probably for the fact that Generation 1 and Generation 2, Generation 3 games, well, Generation 3 games already got their remake. The Generation 1 and Generation 2 games did not get a release on the 3DS console. They got their re-released from the original ones on the 3DS console, which are amazing. And I enjoyed playing through Pokemon Yellow, and I'm hoping to enjoy playing through Pokemon Silver as well. But they're highly focused on these games. One, because they're not going to get remakes anytime soon. And two, why would they make a remake for a game that already has a remake when they haven't made remakes for Generation 4, 5, 6, or 7 yet? Now, obviously, Generation 7 does not need one yet because it just is. It's not even done yet. We haven't got the Generation 8. So, Generation 7 does not need one yet. However, Generation 4, everyone thought this game was going to be Generation 4 remakes, and it was not. So, we're kind of still bummed out about that, and everyone's like, oh, Generation 4 games are going to be the first games released on the Nintendo Switch. That's what they're coming out with. No. As much as I would love to see Generation 4 remakes, because Generation 4 really did bring in the actual household consoles like the Wii, those games like Pikachu's Adventure and Pokemon Battle Revolution really brought into the game of the Wii U system and the other Nintendo consoles. Now I think that should be served justice when Generation 8 comes out. Gen 4 remakes definitely should be confirmed in Generation 8. I definitely would say, I would put money on that Generation 8 is going to include Gen 4 remakes. However, the first games to come out in Generation 8 will not be the Generation remakes, because they are never the Generation remakes, they're always the new games first. So when the Switch Pokemon game is released and announced, it's going to be a completely new game. Bold prediction, I know. And I really got off on a long tangent here. So back to the Ultra Wormhole. Again, Hal and Lusamine both there. I like to say Lucy is going to be a good character in this game just because it's the opposite of what she was in the last game. However, I would like to make a bold prediction and say that the roles of Team Skull and Team in the Aether Foundation will be reversed. So Team Skull seemed like a goofy joke of an evil team, hidden up by the fact that Aether actually was the corrupt society in this game. I would like to say that's not going to happen in this game, and I know that's not going to happen in this game. And I think Team Skull is actually going to be something to reckon with. I'm going to say that I'm making a huge bold prediction right now. I'm going to say Faba, since being that snarky guy and sort of giving off the evilish vibe, he's going to actually leave the Aether Foundation because he is not the president he thinks he should be. He's going to leave, and he's going to team up with Team Skull to go through the Ultra Wormholes and get these Ultra Beasts. And Luzamine actually is freaked out by these when they come through the wormhole. She is absolutely terrified. She just wants nothing to do with them. She thinks they're going to destroy her Pokemon. She asks you to quickly get rid of it, and that's why you battle it in Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon. But she actually steps in and helps you because she wants to conserve these Pokemon so that they don't fall into the hands of evil because they're obviously pretty powerful. So she's going to help you stop Team Skull and Faba with the capture of the Ultra Beast. And I think the Ultra Beast capturing is not going to be post-game in this game. It's actually going to be like before the 7th gym, like where you catch all the legendaries. It's going to be right before you battle go to the league to battle, or you're going to get to the league and then you're going to have to turn around and catch these legendaries, catch these Ultra Beasts, and stop Team Skull. So that would be something cool to see in these games. Last thing I want to mention about these Ultra Wormholes, because I'm way taking this off on a tangent, is they do not look the same. Now, on the screen is a picture of how they look in Sun and Moon. The one in Ultra Sun and Moon, they look the same. They have the same rip opening thing. It looks like you're going through like a hard drive or something. But it has a little bit of a sparkle to it. And if you notice in the trailer, something else has a little bit of a sparkle to it that was shown in the trailer, and that was Ultra Beast Burst. Now I think instead of Nihilego popping out of these holes, I think it's going to be Ultra Beast Burst and Ultra Beast Assembly, and the one in the trailer is just a showing of Ultra Sun. but not Ultra Moon. So they're going to be different in that spot. They're going to be showing off these new Ultra Beasts. So Ultra Beast Burst is going to come out the one in Sun and Moon, the one in Ultra Sun, and Ultra Beast Assembly is going to come out the one in Ultra Moon. Bold prediction, I know, but I feel like this is the best way to show off these two. And another note with that, I don't think that Buzzwole and Pheromosa are going to be very prime in this game. They're probably going to be very pushed back as the Ultra Beasts come, because I feel like Ultra Beast Burst and Ultra Beast Assembly basically take over the role of what Buzzwole and Pheromosa did in Sun and Moon in the new game. So like they're going to be more prevalent in these games, and apparently they're going to be the ones with the coolest typing, because that's what Nihilego was, and it was sort of like the Ultra Beast. So I definitely think my typings would be really cool to see, and I think they're going to pop out of the Ultra Wormhole instead of Nihilego. So hopefully we see that. That'd be nice to see. Alright, that's all I got to say for this video. So remember to pick up your copy of either Ultra Sun or Ultra Moon, or if you want to, buy both, on November 17th, 2017. Guys, we only got 2 months. Less than 2 months until these games come out. Actually, today I'm recording it on the 17th, so it is 2 months from today. These games come out, and I cannot be more excited. The only problem is, in the next couple days, I'm going to be getting Pokemon Silver, and I'm going to have to beat that game pretty darn fast. So, we're going to see how that goes, and hopefully it goes pretty good, and I can have it beat by November 17th when I pick up my copy of either Ultra Sun or Ultra Moon. I'm not revealing which one I'm picking up yet, but I'm really excited to see these games and see what they have to hold in store and how different they are from Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon, or if they're just like Black White and Black and White 2. Again, I thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I hope you liked my breakdown. If you did, make sure you go ahead and leave a like. I made a lot of bold predictions and a lot of theories about this video, and it took a lot of time to come up and process all this information that was given to us. So if you're still processing it, definitely hope I shed some light on it for you. And if you know some people who are trying to process this video and this made some sense to you, please share that with your friends, and maybe they might understand something I didn't, or maybe something you didn't. Maybe we can help each other learn what these are going to be like in the future. Also, if you enjoyed this video and you want to see more content like this from me, as well as my top 10s in my Pokemon playthroughs, make sure you go ahead and subscribe. I do a series right now with Damien Dragon, which is a Ruby and Sapphire versus. We're currently on our third or fourth. We just published the third episode, so the fourth episode will be coming up this week. We try to record it weekly, so make sure you subscribe for that content as well. Also, go follow me on Twitter and Instagram at ChaosMay006. Instagram is not used as much as I intended for it to be used, but I am posting more now than I was. So make sure you go follow me on there still. And Twitter is where I primarily use updates and run polls with my fans. So if you want to be included in all the discussion and you want to have a good way to directly message me, make sure you go on Twitter and follow me on Twitter. So, with all of that being said, thank you for watching again, and if you want to see more videos from me or more content, there should be some videos posted up around the screen, so make sure you go ahead and click on one of those anytime now, because they should be popping up relatively soon, or they should already be on your screen. And again, I thank you for watching, and until next time, Pokefans, I'm ChaosMay006, signing off. Burn it up.